Celebrity lives might look flawless from the outside, full of glamour, luxury, and endless excitement. But behind those shining photos and red carpet moments, there's often a much quieter and more personal side. That's where this story begins. Not in a concert hall or a fancy event, but in the warmth of a kitchen. It's a story about love, simplicity, and the comfort that comes from sharing something as ordinary yet meaningful as food. Benny Blanco, the award-winning music producer known for creating global hits, is about to do something very different tonight. Instead of working on beats and melodies, he's focused on preparing a meal, a Mexican pizza inspired by his wife Selena Gomez's heritage and their shared love for homemade comfort food. The evening isn't just about dinner, it's a reflection of their bond, their memories, and the way their two worlds blend together. Benny stands in their spacious, softly lit kitchen, a place that feels more like a sanctuary than a room. He carefully chops a handful of fresh cilantro, the sharp green contrasting beautifully with the smooth wooden cutting board. His movements are careful but slightly nervous. After all, he's cooking for Selena, whose childhood was filled with the bold and rich flavors of traditional Mexican dishes. Across the counter, Selena looks up from her phone, her face glowing with a natural smile that immediately puts him at ease. The air feels light, filled with the sound of simmering pans and the faint rhythm of music playing in the background. For both of them, the kitchen has become a special place. It's where they can step away from fame, cameras, and constant attention. Here, they're just two people who love each other, laughing, experimenting, and finding peace in simple moments. "I know you love steak," Benny says, recalling their earlier talk. "But I wanted to surprise you with something different tonight." There's a trace of excitement in his voice mixed with a bit of pressure. He knows that this dish has to be more than tasty. It has to mean something. He's not just cooking. He's trying to honor where she comes from and what shaped her tastes. The idea of making a Mexican pizza came to him as a kind of symbol for their relationship. Just like the dish, their love is built in layers, rich, flavorful, and full of texture. There's warmth, spice, and a blend of influences that make it uniquely theirs. It's a mix of his world and hers, of music and memory, of two people who found harmony despite their differences. As Benny continues cooking, the sounds in the kitchen form their own kind of melody. The gentle sizzle of onions meeting hot oil, the clatter of utensils, and the occasional burst of laughter from Selena blend into something that feels alive. Music plays softly from a speaker nearby, maybe one of Benny's unfinished tracks, and he hums along absent-mindedly, almost as if inspiration might strike while he stirs the pan. Selena moves around the kitchen, tying her hair back loosely as she sets the table. There's nothing staged about the moment. No camera crew, no publicist, no crowd, just the two of them sharing time. The way she glances at him, amused and proud, says more than words could. Their life may look polished on social media, but in moments like this, it's real. Slightly messy, spontaneous, and full of heart. Cooking together has become one of their favorite rituals. For Benny, it's his way of slowing down and reconnecting after long hours in the studio. For Selena, it's a piece of home, a link to the family recipes and familiar smells she grew up with. Tonight, though, Benny wants to take the lead. He's determined to show her how much he's learned from watching her. Not just about food, but about patience, care, and attention to detail. He starts by preparing the base. 2 flour tortillas, brushed lightly with olive oil and toasted until golden and crisp. He studies them like an artist examining a blank canvas, ready to add color and life. On top, he spreads a smooth layer of refried beans mixed with garlic, followed by sautéed ground beef cooked with onions and chili powder. The kitchen fills with a rich, smoky aroma that instantly reminds Selena of her mother's cooking. She leans against the counter, watching him assemble the layers with focus. They exchange playful remarks about which kind of salsa to use. Her vote is for something spicy, his for something smoky. After a short back and forth, Benny goes with a chipotle sauce that adds both heat and depth. He spoons it gently over the cheese before sprinkling on diced tomatoes, sliced olives, and jalapenos. Each ingredient adds its own flavor and memory. When the pizza slides into the oven, the air changes. The heat carries the scent of melted cheese and roasted peppers, wrapping the room in a cozy, mouth-watering warmth. Benny wipes his hands on a towel and takes a small breath of relief. Selena steps closer, resting her head on his shoulder as they both wait. It's a quiet, familiar moment, the kind that says more about love than grand gestures ever could. For them, this isn't about creating the perfect dish or impressing anyone. It's about connection and about turning something as ordinary as dinner into an act of care. In a world that constantly demands perfection, the beauty of their evening lies in its simplicity. 2 people, a homemade meal, and laughter that fills the silence between them. As the timer ticks down, Benny glances at Selena and smiles. "If this turns out half as good as it smells, I might just open a restaurant," he jokes. She laughs, nudging him lightly. "Let's see if you survive my taste test first." The oven beeps and Benny opens it carefully. The golden tortillas glisten with melted cheese, and the chipotle sauce has bubbled into a dark, rich glaze. The smell is irresistible. Selena claps her hands in delight as he sets it on the counter, and for a moment, the kitchen feels like the center of the universe. just them, their creation, and the happiness of being together. What began as a simple idea to cook dinner has turned into a small celebration of who they are as a couple, a mix of flavors, memories, and love that continues to grow. And in that cozy kitchen, surrounded by warmth and laughter, Benny and Selena remind us that true connection doesn't need a stage or a spotlight. Sometimes it just needs a pizza, a smile, and someone who understands your heart. As the golden crust of the pizza crisps in the oven, Benny moves around the kitchen with focused excitement. He's not rushing. Each movement carries intention. On the counter, bowls of ingredients wait. Cool sour cream, creamy guacamole, and a pile of freshly chopped cilantro that fills the air with a bright, herby scent. These final touches aren't just about flavor. For Benny, they're like the last lines of a love song, small details that turn something simple into something special. He wants the dish to feel perfect, not just in how it tastes, but in what it says. This isn't just food. It's a quiet message of appreciation, care, and love for Selena. When the timer beeps, he opens the oven, greeted by a wave of warmth and the mouth-watering aroma of roasted spices and melted cheese. The pizza looks perfect. Golden, colorful, and full of personality. With a proud grin, Benny slides it onto the counter and begins to slice it into neat wedges. He arranges them on a plate like a chef presenting his masterpiece, then glances at Selena with a playful smirk. "Your dinner is served," he says with mock seriousness, earning a laugh from her. Selena takes a bite, and for a moment she doesn't say anything. Then her eyes light up and a smile spreads across her face. "Oh wow," she says, her voice full of surprise and delight. The flavors hit all at once. The spicy chipotle sauce, the creamy beans, the melted cheese, the crunch of the tortillas, and that cool drizzle of sour cream tying it all together. It's comfort food with heart. More than the taste, she feels the love behind every layer, the thought Benny put into every small step. They eat slowly, enjoying the food and each other's company. Between bites, the room fills with laughter as they trade stories from their pasts. Benny admits with a sheepish grin that he nearly burned the tortillas earlier. Selena bursts out laughing, saying, "That's nothing. I once tried to heat a burrito in the microwave while it was still wrapped in foil." The two of them laugh so hard that tears form in their eyes. It's the kind of moment that reminds them how easy it is to be themselves around each other. The conversation flows naturally. They talk about their families, about music, about their plans for the future, not in a grand, career-focused way, but in the small, personal ways that matter. Benny mentions wanting to spend more time at home, to create without pressure. Selena talks about wanting to travel more, not for work, but just to explore, to breathe. The kitchen, filled with soft lighting and the faint hum of city life outside, feels like the heart of their home, warm, alive, and safe. Benny finds himself thinking back to how it all started, how nervous he was on their first date, unsure if he could make her laugh or if he'd say something awkward. But then, just like now, her laughter had eased everything. He remembers the late nights in his studio where she'd sit quietly, watching him create, occasionally humming along to his unfinished tracks. He remembers road trips where they'd stop at tiny diners, sharing fries and talking about songs they hadn't written yet. Their relationship hasn't been without its struggles. Fame doesn't make life easier. If anything, it often makes things harder. There were days when tabloid rumors tested their patience, when public attention became overwhelming, and when finding time for themselves felt nearly impossible. Through it all, they learned how to protect their peace by communicating openly, being honest, and choosing forgiveness when things got tough. As Benny watches Selena enjoying her food, it hits him. Cooking is a lot like love. It's about risk, creativity, and trust. You experiment, you mess up, you adjust. And when it finally comes together, it feels like magic. The kitchen, much like the studio, is a place where mistakes can turn into discoveries. Sometimes the flavors clash. Sometimes they blend perfectly. But the joy is in trying. They finish their pizza slowly, savoring the last few bites. Selena leans back, smiling, her expression soft and sincere. "Thank you," she says. "Not just for dinner, but for everything that came with it. The effort, the care, the patience. You know, the best meals aren't about recipes," she adds. "They're about love. That's why the kitchen will always be my favorite room. It's where we're just us." Benny's grin widens. He knows he's far from a professional chef, but tonight that doesn't matter. He's created something that means more than a perfect dish ever could. He's made something that celebrates her heritage, their bond, and the life they're building together. One meal, one laugh, one shared story at a time. After dinner, they start stacking the dishes in the sink. Selena insists they'll wash them later. Right now, she just wants to relax. Benny agrees, wiping his hands on a towel before joining her on the couch. They curl up together under a soft blanket, full and content, the scent of spices still hanging in the air. Outside, the city continues its restless rhythm, but inside their home, everything feels still. To outsiders, this might sound like an ordinary evening, just two famous people cooking dinner. To the media, it could easily become a headline: Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's cozy kitchen night. But to them, it's something much deeper. It's a snapshot of real life, a small reminder that love grows not through big gestures or fancy events, but through shared moments that seem insignificant until you look back and realize how much they mean. This night becomes one of those quiet memories, the kind that doesn't fade. Years from now, when life gets busier and schedules get heavier, they'll remember this evening: the smoky chipotle, the laughter, the warmth of the kitchen. Their story carries a simple message: that love doesn't need to be grand or perfect. It can live in the smallest acts, like making dinner for someone, laughing over a mistake, or listening to the other person's heartbeat in the middle of a quiet night. Benny and Selena's Mexican pizza isn't just a meal. It's a symbol of what love looks like when you strip away the noise. Imperfect, heartfelt, and deeply human. It invites anyone watching to do the same: to cook for someone they care about, to embrace imperfection, and to find beauty in the ordinary. Whether the result is picture perfect or a little messy doesn't matter. What stays is the intention, the time spent, the laughter shared, and the bond strengthened. As the night comes to an end, Benny switches off the lights in the kitchen. The city glows outside their window, but inside, it's just the two of them: a music producer and a singer, wrapped up in warmth and gratitude. The leftover pizza sits on the counter, still fragrant, like a quiet reminder of everything they've built together. Their love story continues, one meal, one song, one memory at a time. And somewhere between the flavor of chipotle and the sound of their laughter, they found something most people spend a lifetime searching for: a love that feels like home.